Welcome back to the Weekend Warrior Show Recap Podcast. I'm Ty from the Unemployed Architects. Today sitting down with a good friend of mine, Ryan
Wolf.
Edward Wolf.
That's my middle name.
Well, if you want to find yourself on the Spotify, that's what you got to look up, right? Ryan Edward Wolf.
Yeah, right now it's Ryan Edward Wolf, but I'm actually trying to get rid of that middle name, so I may have to just start a...
Gonna legally change it?
No, but I'd like to drop it for my artist name. I just think Ryan Wolf has a nicer ring.
Sounds like a superhero, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
I like Wolferton. But...
when the moon is full, you know, so.
Right. So it's a strong name, we'll say. Been working on your next album here, right?
Yeah, man.
You've been staying with us for a while, and that whole time you've been trying to record a lot of new music, so tell me a little bit about it. What's been going on with that?
Well, yeah, I took a pretty long hiatus from making music. You know, I was always still writing, but it wasn't anything too crazy. It was just kind of stuff for fun, nothing serious. And up until about just a couple months ago, I was like, you know what? Like, I really miss, playing like solid songs, and I'm kind of sick of my old catalog. So I was like, this is a good opportunity to write some new songs. So I started writing new songs, and now I'm kind of getting somewhere with it. And I have my new album that I'm working on. I'm working on a 7-song little album.
But that could change.
It could change.
You don't want to be too binded to the 7 songs.
Yeah, like sometimes things change. I mean, sometimes I get an idea, and nothing is ever set in stone really for me with the music. But I can say, I'm happy with the new songs.
Me too. I've heard the 3 you have done. Well, now 4, right?
Now 4, yeah.
And they're all sounding pretty solid. Pretty happy with the way they're turning out.
Thanks,
I can
man.
tell, and I feel like they're sounding really good. Very well written. Kind of a different vibe in general, though, right?
Yeah. I'm kind of just going for, if anything, a simpler sound, just pretty stripped back, just acoustic and vocals and, solid lyrics, hopefully. And just, I'm just having fun with it. I kind of wanted to do it that way just because, that's how it'll sound live. And, if you hear it this way, you kind of get an idea of what it sounds like to hear me perform those songs.
Yeah, and it's a very, he's sitting in the living room kind of playing kind of album,
Right.
Because you sit out in our living room, you play your new songs for us, and then we hear the recordings, and it's very, very similar. And I think that's kind of a cool concept, is like just the idea of like you being in there with you and a guitar in one room, just listening, and that's how it sounds. Nothing fixed, no overproduction, just exactly.
That's exactly
your
right.
voice. And I think that's a really cool. And, in a way, courageous idea, because you're not hiding behind anything. You're just, you're bearing it all. That's I think that's a very cool thing.
For sure, and I really get a kick out of those, old Dylan recordings where it's just, him and, trying to figure out the songs, and it's very stripped back, and it's almost, it's raw, but it's uncut, and it's just genuine, and, I'm really inspired by that method, so that's kind of what I'm going for this time.
We were talking the other night about the Black Keys and kind of when they talk about recording, and I feel like in the same vein kind of is what you're doing. Obviously, they're more on the rock side of things,
sure.
But, they're just bedroom recording essentially. I mean, when they first started, and they would do a couple takes, and they would just, I don't know, I always like listening to them talk about it, and I feel like they you can hear like the rawness of it kind of, and its imperfection is kind of what makes it great in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. Yeah, when you listen to those Black Keys recordings, you can tell they're, still trying to figure those songs out as they go, and there's something kind of magical about that, because it's sort of in the moment, and it's just, it's pure. It's awesome.
Right. So, and you're trying to play a little bit more live, which we've been talking about a lot, and we went out to an open mic for the first time. Have you ever done an open mic before?
I honestly don't think I have. I think this was my first open mic. I've done stuff where I've set up in a coffee shop before and have played, but nothing, quite like last night.
Well, last night was a special, a different kind of open mic in a way. I don't know that you would want to measure that towards most, but so we played at this place here in town, and was very
Diggers.
Yeah. It wasn't. I don't know. Wasn't ran super well. But
they had popcorn. I got I got like a 24-ounce beer for, I think, $2.50, which was a pretty good deal. You know.
Yeah, they have good drink deals. But they couldn't figure out how to plug in our guitars, which was a little weird.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, here we go. My guitar's broken. He plugged it in and there was nothing coming out of it. I'm like, is the battery dead? I've dropped this guitar down some stairs before. It's been through some rough times, so you never know.
And then we plugged in my guitar right after, and I had just played with it, so I knew it was working, making the same noise.
I was like, oh great, Tyler's guitar's broken too.
Yeah, both of our guitars are broken in the exact same way and make the exact same noise when you plug them in.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it was pretty weird night ultimately. But we had a little outdoor jam session kind of after. It was pretty wild. We were there, and I think 3 of the maybe best guitar players in our town were there, and they didn't really, they got on stage for a little bit for a couple of the acts and played a little, but it would have been cool to have them kind of all sit down together. But it was Alex Gerard from No Robot, and ZD, which he's in ZD with Jay Thomason, who was in Hot Sauce Universe, and then Nolan Kelly was there as well from Flaccid, and all just amazing guitar players. And then there was this band that played at the stable down a couple buildings. Melody Trucks, I believe, who's I think she's the daughter of one of the drummers from the Allman Brothers.
That's crazy.
And so they came, and they were just kind of hanging out. I think she even got up and sang one with Lo and I. And by the way, we were totally at that point just miking my acoustic guitar because couldn't figure out how to get it to.
It sounded good though. I mean,
there's no way it sounded good.
Yeah, no, it sounded great. I'm gonna start miking my guitar from now on.
It's very Inside Llewyn Davis because we're both big fans of that movie.
Great
and
movie.
It's very old kind of folk style, and they just had a microphone essentially, maybe just a vocal mic, something like that looks like that, but maybe they had one little mic on the guitar, but
you had to be quieter to hear the songs.
Them. And that I don't know that
there's something special about that though, I think.
Yeah, because it grabs your attention. That was one of I would say maybe one of my critiques from last night is the band that played. They were so loud that not like the first band, right when we got there, that it seemed like it would probably drive people away. I feel like you should have almost the mentality of trying to draw people in.
Yeah, the sound in there wasn't great. I mean, it was a pretty small room, too. There was nowhere for the sound to go except straight to your head.
Right. I had earplugs in for sure.
I did not.
Well, you'll be feeling that in the next 20 years probably. But,
yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know. My mentality, I think we were saying the Inside Llewyn Davis is to, you want to draw people in instead of the opposite. I don't know.
It's like, if the room is loud, then you're either doing something wrong or these people just don't care.
Right. And that's generally how I think we felt until that last band came, and there were so many great guitar players playing last night that just for a second, and then
the guitars were great.
When that band came up from the show down a couple buildings down, they had 3 different people playing guitar throughout their little set, and
all terrific.
These are all people I didn't know, not from town, and they just were shredding. It was crazy to watch. And then it was one person would jump on the drums, one person would jump on the bass, then they'd switch, and then it was mix and match.
Melody Trucks was the name of that band. Yeah. I think they're out of Jacksonville, Florida.
And
so go check them out.
Yeah, she was a great singer too. Very, very powerful, strong voice, and lots of crazy cool guitar playing. But what we were getting to is it's kind of like a not what I'd want for you for a first open mic night experience.
Sure. I was a little disappointed just because I was excited to play those new ones and in front of people.
And it was just me pretty much. Me and Lo for a little bit.
Right. But, I got the chance.
Right. But let's get into that. So you were getting ready to maybe take off, and you're like, maybe I'll just set it, or I'll just start playing with my guitar.
You know what? The the street lights, the darkness. There was a really cool atmosphere outside. The weather was actually really nice at this point. It was very cool. There was a cool breeze blowing, and there were some tables, some chairs. I was like, you know what? Like, I wonder if I set up here and start playing, just having kind of fun, just enjoying myself. If the crowd's gonna come outside of this bar at some point and want to listen to, you know, some songs, and
it definitely an alternative vibe, you know, because
Absolutely.
in there it was so loud. Like I said, I had to wear earplugs essentially the whole time I was
This
in
was
there.
like the come down show.
right. The acoustic broken down raw set. And for a while you were just kind of out there by yourself, and then eventually we got some people to come out and kind of hang out, and the band that, you know, as soon as they were done playing, they all came out and just hung and watched you play for a while, and then
They were singing along.
to songs they'd never heard before, which was cool to see. And
Yeah,
then
definitely.
Janae from Hot Sauce Universe was out there for a while. I think she was the first one actually that came out and kind of hung.
Yeah,
her
she's
and
really
Jay
cool.
for a bit, and and it just turned into a little after party kind of thing, which was the after party after the after party, because a
Right.
lot of the people from the stable came to Diggers, and then the people that Diggers were like, all right, well, we should get out of here, and they're like, oh, there's some guy playing guitar, and then
And it was fun too. Like, we kind of just chilled and laid back, you know. I'm sure it was, I mean, I know because I was in that room, the atmosphere was pretty chaotic, so it was a nice little, like, you know, chillax spot outside with the cool breeze, like I said, and yeah, it was just fun. Everybody just kind of relaxed, and we kicked it, and we played some songs, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And so that was like a nice little icing on the cake. I mean, the cake was kind of didn't taste very good, but the icing on it was good. The ending, I mean...
It was a little dry.
Because again, I mean it's not what open mic nights are usually like. When I first started, I played like 3 a week for, you know, years and years. At least a couple years. And you know, that's how I'd get my stage time in. And you know, you'd have one that was like on every Tuesday, one that was on every Wednesday, one that was on every Thursday, and I would just go try to get stage time. So I mean, I've seen them in all shapes and forms, and I've even ran my own at a certain point, which
that's cool.
I've done it a couple different places, and they're better than that.
Yeah.
Usually they're better. So we're thinking about maybe checking one out tonight at the Night Shop, right?
I was reading online that there's one at the Night Shop tonight. It'd be really cool to go to that. So hopefully we get a chance to do that.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's a good way, even on those nights that are like they were at the beginning of last night. It's still, you know, it's getting you time to play through a PA system and just get comfortable.
You know, and it's Friday night, and Night Shop is a busy place, so it might
Today is Thursday.
Is it Thursday?
It is Thursday.
You know, I've got my days mixed up.
Yeah.
But, oh well, you know, it happens.
But, and then I got a crazy weekend. I'm supposed to play 2 shows tomorrow, 2 shows on Saturday. One of them, the one on Saturday, is down in St. Louis in the morning. So I'm going to have to...
Where's that at?
It's called O'Fallon, Illinois.
Okay.
It's for like a farmer's market type thing. The
cool.
Vine Street Market. And so I have to get up at like 5 a.m. 6, I'm going to leave here, hopefully, get there by like 8:30, and then have an hour to set up, and then play 2 hours, and then...
I really dig the atmosphere at those farmers markets.
Farmers
market. Really chill.
So that's what we were talking about with last night in general, just the busking as opposed to real shows. Like, you know, when you're sitting out, because we went not too long ago, just you and I, and it's just a different vibe than a show.
Yeah, definitely.
It's more like...
It's more personal.
Definitely more personal, but it's like also...
There's almost more of a connection too, especially when, you know, you see people listening, because it's like they have to listen if they want to hear the music, because you don't have the PA.
Yeah, and it's not like you're not like killing anybody with sound. If somebody doesn't want to hear it, they just walk fast, or they just like go across the street. So the people that are like, you know, kind of hanging out, they you can tell that they're definitely into it, and you're not hiding behind any like effects or anything. It's just whatever it sounds like is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And there's something just like this street performing or busking is like a very true like to who you are kind of style performance, and
Definitely.
sometimes can be more fun than those.
Well, and it's like, the songs are written that way, so it's like you just feel that energy, when you play them.
And you're kind of mixing in real time, so it's like, if you can't hear the vocal, you feel like the vocals are too quiet, you have to sing louder, play the guitar. So it's so much simpler than trying to get all the dials dialed in for the mixing and the venues. Every venue has a different sound in general, and then different sound set up if they have their own sound or you bring your sound. It's just lots of plugging stuff in and trying to make things louder and sound good, but you can hear yourself, but you want to add a little reverb for atmosphere, and you're doing all this stuff all the time, and I don't know, you can get lost on that side of it sometimes. Like I've had so many shows where I'm like in my head so hard because I'm like, well, what is not sounding right now? Like I'm trying to figure it out, but I'm playing a song, so that's what I should be thinking about.
Right.
When you're in the street, like we're saying, you don't have any of that. You just have your performance. You can play your guitar quieter or louder. You can sing louder or quieter.
And I might add, like, I've always preferred playing that way.
Yeah. It's just a different feel.
But then again, it's nice when you're playing in a place that has really nice acoustics, and you got the PA, and you can hear your voice kind of bouncing off the walls, and it has this sort of like, orchestral sound. Like, that's really cool too. They're just completely different.
Yeah, but I think there's value in both, and
Absolutely.
you can find the fun in either of them. Sometimes I do, like I was saying, I do get a little bit lost in the sound aspect. And if you're like a real professional musician, you probably have your sound guy, and if you have like the in-ears, the nice ones, maybe you don't have to think quite as hard when it comes to the live sound stuff. But for me, since I'm doing it all myself, you definitely have nights where you just like can't crack the code and it gets in the way. You almost just wish you could unplug everything and just play acoustic sometimes.
I can't relate.
Well, you've done some shows with me, but
I've done some shows. I've played at the Eagle Theater. Do you know who I am?
Good old P-Town. Yeah, that Kyle Yap, who was my last guest, he played drums for us at that show.
Right.
So
that was a fun night.
Yeah.
That was back in, what, 2000...
Definitely pre-pandemic. Yeah. Definitely.
2018, I think, actually.
I remember I was... one of my most memorable things was... not show-related, of course.
Mm-hmm.
One of my good friends, Brad Miller from Pontiac, he was there, and he was saying, "Oh, it sounded great." But I did notice, you look a little like have you put on some weight? Like, dead serious. I was like, I had.
Jesus,
I had really ballooned up. So it was a nice wake-up call. I get those every so often.
But you look great now.
Well, so. I have been working hard at it, but I fluctuate quite a bit.
I think I've been losing weight lately.
That's what I was going for.
Over the last year, I actually gained like 20, 30 pounds, which is pretty significant. But I've just been. It's been a stressful year. It's been a really stressful year. It's been a hard couple months. I feel a little light. I feel lighter than
That's good.
Normal.
It's a good way to be.
Is it?
I don't know. I think it is. I'm always trying to be lighter, though.
I mean, there's a thing as too light,
I don't know.
I just, I need to eat more. That's what I think.
Yeah, I wish I had that problem. I wish I was like, I should force myself to eat some delicious food.
I did, I got up this morning and I went to Avanti's.
It's your favorite.
I had a cheese pizza bread.
It's your favorite.
If you guys haven't had Avanti's cheese pizza bread, I don't know what the heck you guys are thinking. And
sponsored by Avanti's food.
Sponsored by Avanti's. And it was delicious, I always get the same thing, a cheese pizza bread and a small Pepsi, and it's like just under $8, so...
We make fun of Ryan a lot because he's really picky about his food, so...
Yeah, my babysitter, this like goes way back to when I was... Yeah, my babysitter used to slip things that, I didn't want to eat in the food that I do like. And it just created this like weird phobia, and I've gotten better at trying foods over the past couple weeks.
I don't even think I could agree with that, but Sliced up that watermelon real good.
Yeah, no, you know what? I've been eating mostly just Avantis and watermelon lately.
It's a good diet, strong, healthy diet.
I mean, watermelon, it's delicious.
Mostly water.
It's mostly water, but if you know how to find the right watermelon, I'm gonna tell you this right now.
This is important.
So if you didn't know already, when you look for watermelon, you want to find yellow bottoms. On one side, both sides I would say is probably preferable. They're a little sweeter when they're yellow. So if you find those, chances are you picked out a good one.
Yellow bottoms are the right bottoms.
Yellow bottoms. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. I've gotten like 3 watermelons in the past like couple weeks, and all of them yellow bottoms, and they were all delicious. So
I don't even like watermelon, so this is for everybody else, not for me.
This isn't for Tyler. This is for everyone
for
listening.
The thousands of people who are going to stream this podcast.
This is for the 3rd and 4th viewer.
Maybe that 5th one will creep in. But they probably don't like watermelon, so...
Right.
But maybe the 6th one. Get back to it. But that's it. That's all we get for these kind of things. But, so you're planning on getting into the live performing more, right? That's kind of the...
I would like to. I've played several shows live.
I will say, I think that you get... because you've been able to do your own shows and because last night was kind of a reminder of what the open mic scene can be like.
And I really enjoyed the atmosphere after the open mic. If those guys had been inside listening, that would have been great.
But I mean, just like there's a lot of stuff that in that scene that it's like you're just there to play a lot of the time, and you end up sitting and waiting around, and there's a lot of negative parts to it. But it's good. I mean, it's good for you ultimately. It's good to make connections with other musicians. It's good to get on stage. It's good to... But
I think there should be, a level of mutual respect at open mics. I think, if I watch you play for 45 minutes, watch me play a couple songs. That would be nice. I just think, with these things, there should be a mutual respect. We're all musicians.
But there is at some. I mean, like I keep saying, last night
this was just a horrible example.
But I will. What I was getting to is, you've been lucky to not have to do. Because when I first started, I wasn't even 21. I pretty much had to do. That was the only way I could play shows to get stage time, was to go up, 2 or 3 times a week, every week. Mm-hmm. And, you get these 10, 15-minute spots. And, it's a little grueling, to be honest. I don't know that I would be down to do it as much. And then when Lo started singing with me, we kind of went back at it. We were doing once or twice a week. And, those were kind of more on the fun side, I would say, because it was Treehouse Lounge. They had a really nice stage. But it's just like... You have to sit in a bar, and that's why the bar does it. Ultimately, is you're getting musicians that want to come play on an off night, and they'll sit around, wait for their turn to play. So they're obviously buying some drinks at the same time, and it can be those. You can be in for some long nights, and it's not
definitely.
It's not like when I play a show. A lot of times it's just me. Very focused show, even if the crowd isn't
focused.
Even if the crowd's not really showing up for you, you're there for 3 hours to play music. You're gonna be kind of a little bit loud and in people's face, and it's just such a different. So to not have to, I think it'll be good for you to go out and do them, but they are gonna be a little rough at times. But
yeah.
it was almost. If you go to the one tonight, I think it'll be better. And by contrast, maybe you won't.
I just need to get in the habit of, that mindset, like, I get to play some of my songs, like.
And just plan on if people listen, that's great. But plan on them not. Plan on, you're just there to practice singing through a microphone on stage where maybe some people will be looking.
I was thinking about maybe carrying a squirt bottle with me in the future, just so if people who walking by just squirt them. It's fun. It's hot out there. It's hot in those bars.
Well, and you might go to Houston, so it's going to be hotter down there.
Yeah, I might go to Houston. Sounds like my girlfriend's gonna be going that way, and I just out of curiosity, I looked for open mics in Houston. There's a lot of opportunities to
Probably every night of the week.
pretty much, yeah, every day.
So, I mean, but I think that's one of the great things about those. And if you're, not that there's, again, many people listening, but if you are a person that is a musician that is just starting out and wondering how people kind of get started, I mean, that's the best way I've learned to do it, is just because, you have to get, before you can, if you can play
It's a good way to meet people, too.
It's a good way to meet people, but if you can play in your bedroom, that's one thing, but when you're playing through a PA system in front of people on a stage, it takes a long time just to get, like, a little comfortable. And it took me, I'm still getting, not quite there, but, it's, a lot of it, we were talking the other day about, when people are performing, like the great performers, I feel like, almost 90% of it is just keeping it cool.
Right.
And I feel like that's such a hump to kind of get over with the performing. Because in a situation where we're outside, we're playing in front of 6 people that are into it, that's a different thing than playing a show that's like a show, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for me, it's just like, it helps me to just like really just, get into it, like feel what I'm like actually playing instead of just like, sitting there being all in my head. For example, I play a lot of, I write a lot of new songs. I'm constantly writing, and to perform those songs, I have to remember those songs, and it's sometimes I write them really fast. I don't remember the lyrics right away. I have to like play them, and
bunch of times.
And doing it that way, they grow on me too. So it's like I kind of grow with the songs a little bit. So I don't always feel them at first.
Yeah, I always feel like your output is very, very high, but you don't hold on to stuff for too long sometimes.
Yeah, there's been you get...
how many songs... You've probably forgotten more songs than I have total written. There's a good chance.
I've started so many songs that never got finished, probably more than I actually have finished.
But even ones that you finish a lot of the times, even if you record them and get them online.
The only reason I do it that way, I'm not really thinking about, like, holding on to anything. Like, writing for me is, like, how I just get all that baggage out of my brain, Writing is, like, very therapeutic, I'm always writing. If I'm not writing, I just kind of sit there in my thoughts, so... It's not always like intentional. It just like happens, You
go in big bursts too. I've always noticed. Like you'll have like a week where you just write 6 or 8 songs, and then you'll be like, oh, I got writer's block. It's been 2 days, man. Like you just wait it out a little bit. It's gonna come back because you just seems to be bursting a lot of times, which
I'm not sure why that is either. Like, I don't understand.
I think part of writing is just, like, showing up to try to write. Not that you're always trying, but, you do sit down with the guitar a lot. You show up,
One thing that I've definitely been doing lately, so I've always gotten comfortable with the stuff that I'm familiar with. For example, the stuff that I grew up on, the stuff that I've started listening to just a few years ago, when I listen to music, like, I tend to fall back on, that stuff that I've already heard. And lately, I'm on Spotify making those playlists that recommend, songs. And I'm listening to a lot more, like, variety. And, when I hear something that I've never heard before and it really, like, strikes a chord with me, it inspires me. And that's usually how it starts. I hear something and I'm like, okay, I really like how this sounds. How can I take this and, kind of do my own thing with it? And it's really easy to do that, too, when you're just playing acoustic. You don't have to, like, focus on all the other instruments. And I just find, always, like, expanding your, your artists.
What you're listening
to is a good way to always have that inspiration to do something.
I get like that, too. I think I heard... We were talking about that Lord Huron album not that long ago. And I remember
the new one, yeah, Long Lost.
Yeah, I was like, hey Wolf, you should check out this album. He's like, oh, you mean the one that I told you to listen to like months ago? I was like, yeah, that one. Check that one out again, maybe.
Yep, I already heard that one, bro.
But
where have you been?
But I think that because I've been working on a solo track, which I take forever to do anything, but I feel like a lot of the stuff I'm doing with the production part of it is like that guy.
Are you talking about Wings?
Yeah.
Wings, great song.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be great.
Just gotta get
Those
the vocals done.
Yeah, I'm excited when that one's done. The guitars on that one are really cool.
But I mean, I think a lot of that was because I was listening to that Lord Huron album, and I liked like a lot of the. And I don't even think it really comes through in what I like the overall mix, but it got me to show up to like give it a shot. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of what you're saying is like, you know, you listen to something, you feel really inspired, and then you kind of digest it, and it comes out, and the way that, you know, your take on it, which doesn't, like a lot of times my take on something doesn't sound anything like what the original.
That album too is like a really great album. Like it's a little bit different than his other albums. You know, it's the pacing is a little slower, but the songwriting is all there. Like it's definitely a great. I really like that
very
song.
Atmospheric.
So I Lied.
Oh yeah,
great song off Long Lost, Lord Huron.
You did that cover of that song.
Yeah, that was the song on that album that really I was like, this is really good, this is great, you know.
I listened to that when you first posted it. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I was like
playing on my uke.
Not my favorite Lord Huron song I thought at the time, but I was like, oh, that's cool. And then because I've liked that band forever. It's kind of a slow, melancholy kind of. I think it's pretty much about how he promised his lady that he wouldn't, you know, give up, and then he eventually does. He was saying he lied. He like made all these big like promises and
couldn't keep them.
Yeah,
and you know sometimes that's like a harsh reality of life.
Yeah. And
which is why that's such a great song too, because like on a human level, you know, I think everybody can relate to a song like that at some point in their lives. And then
the nice thing, the resolution of it is the girl singer comes in and plays the part of whoever he wrote that letter to about how he couldn't, you know, keep his promises, and she's like, she felt relief ultimately.
Allison,
I don't remember her name.
I think it's Allison Potnier or something with a P.
But
she's got a great voice.
Yeah. And she does a little harmony throughout the first section, and then she comes in strong at that ending.
I probably completely butchered that name, so
yeah,
you'll have to go look it up. It's a really great song.
I Lied by Lord Huron. It's really cool. But again, that whole album, it almost has like a full artistic like view, like a concept, because it almost seems like they use like these old like TV spots,
right?
Like where, you know, you can hear the audience and there's like an announcer sometimes. It's like it's really trying to go for something, and I don't know exactly what it is going for, but I feel it when I listen to it. Like I feel like it's definitely going for an old-timey kind of like, TV performance kind of feel.
Yeah, I really love Sting. I'm really inspired. I don't listen to his music, but the fact that he's making that, I respect that.
What's that from?
I feel like Zoolander.
I was gonna say, sounds very familiar.
But yeah, no, that's one of those albums that, you know, it definitely feels conceptual, just in the sense that, you know, every song is kind of connected in that way. You know?
And I mean, the textures they use for a lot of the mixing and the production aspects, I think, connects it. But also, I think what's really cool with that album is like it meshes together a bunch of different genres of music. Like there's these
genres,
there's these big string sections in some, and then there's like these like kind of more low-key kind of Beach Boys-esque kind of sound in some, you know. It just has like a lot of different,
and it's a little folky too.
Yeah, there's a lot of folk.
I've really been vibing out to that Saint Seneca project that you shared with me.
That's one of my favorite bands, and I got to give my brother Ryan credit for showing me.
Shout out to Ryan.
Yeah, because I mean, he shows me him and my brother Derek both show me so much music, and very lucky to have that.
Shout out to Derek.
Very lucky to have that. But Saint Seneca was one that Ryan definitely showed me, and I've been pretty obsessed with them for a while. I think it's one of my. I don't think they're a huge band, which is kind of interesting. Like they're not like, you know, on the pop charts or anything, but
I've had Acid Rain stuck in my head for like a week.
I don't. What is that album called? Do you remember? It's like one of the first ones they did.
Yeah.
But while you look that up, you don't have your phone.
I actually don't have my phone. It's charging in the other room. But I don't remember the name. But it's got a few really great songs on it. Really, the whole album is great. I really like Acid Rain.
Missing Dogs is like
Missing
my
Dogs,
favorite.
I was going to say. That's probably my favorite. And then Beasts.
Beast has some really like good lyrics. Like about halfway through it kicks in and I don't know, there's something about it that just like really hits home, and the rawness of it. I mean, I feel like is a little bit what you're going for with your.
A little bit. It's a little different. It's not exactly the same, but Beasts and Missing Dogs, it's just like acoustic and vocals, which I really like the sound of that. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Mount Erie and the Microphone, some of their songs off various projects.
Microphones, you've been showing me a lot of their stuff lately, and I've been digging a lot of that. It's very lo-fi.
It's lo-fi, but it's super atmospheric, and I think it's really rewarding. Especially there are so many experimental things going on in Phil Everham's songs that it's really easy to just kind of get lost in that world. And
lots of tech. I cannot find this album. This should be easy. But very atmospheric and very specific in the feel. Like it's very original. I mean, it's like
bare bones. It's like just acoustic, and then you've got like really weird like drums every once in a while, and it's lyrically very good.
Last. So good thing I finally got that out. Last by Saint Seneca. That's the one with the dog on the front. I think that's the album, right?
Yeah. Is it a dog or is it a wolf?
I mean, all dogs are wolves, technically. They come from wolves, so same thing. But anyway, that's
I know. I know that.
Great album. But Saint, I'm excited for you to eventually get into more of their stuff, because there's something too that I think I've always, when I hear some of your recordings that are essentially, a lot of them are done all on your iPad. They have a certain quality to them that I think Saint Seneca has like a similar vibe in that way. Not that you guys sound at all alike or anything, but just like I feel like the main guy in Saint Seneca does a lot with a little, and I always say that that's kind of what I think when you do your recordings a lot is like you do your recordings, your videos, your anything you put out, you do a lot of high quality stuff with very little gear and equipment,
right?
And I get that same vibe from
and it's stuff. Like my girlfriend and I, we're always on the road, we're always traveling, so it's like I don't always have time to go to a studio or to have all this fancy stuff I got to carry around with me. Usually I just have my iPad, I have a microphone, I got my headphones, and then the rest is just like what I'm able to do with the guitar and the vocals.
Right.
But I do I've gotten really comfortable using like the presets, for example, the keyboards and the drum machines on there. There's a lot you can do with the iPad now on GarageBand.
There is a certain element that it does seem lacking in, and I think a lot of that just has to do with getting it mastered properly.
Well, yeah, and a few years from now too, when they start putting out newer models, like that technology is only going to get better. It's not going to get worse. And so I started off recording songs on the iPad when I did this way back when on a it was like the original iPad. You could only have 8 tracks open on GarageBand, and you certainly didn't have all the effects and download packs that you can get now. So you were limited. So
but that's just,
who am I?
That's just more to my point, that you can do a lot with little, because I remember listening to those songs and thinking they were done in a studio and thinking they were good quality. And
Ryan Wolf Studios. I've been down to my mom's house. I'll set you up in my bedroom. I didn't have a microphone back then, so we're gonna have to use the camera mic.
The iPad microphone.
Yeah, back then, those sounded great. I actually recently revisited some of those songs, and I was just like,
they don't make them like that anymore.
Exactly.
So that's counter to your point, though, is that you think it's only going to get better, but you're like, that microphone.
In a few years, I'm going to listen to these new songs. I'm going to be like, yeah, that's not it.
You're going to listen to the songs tomorrow. And you change your
all right, I'm scrapping this project. I'm starting from fresh.
And I'm changing my band name.
And it's going to be all hip-hop.
That's exactly what hanging out with Wolf is like. He changes his mind about.
In all seriousness, no, I really do like making hip hop music. You know,
I've heard some of it. He does do it. Don't you have some stuff somewhere that people can check out on that front?
It's exclusive. We have to be friends for you to hear it, but. No, it's pretty good. I've always thought about, I've always loved making hip-hop instrumentals. I grew up with a few people that really enjoyed hip-hop, and that's how I kind of got into it. And just like, making beats is kind of the same as like writing a song. You're figuring it out. I like to just get on the iPad sometimes and start with a basic drum beat and just like, jam out. And
it's like a puzzle in a lot of ways.
It is, it is definitely like a puzzle.
I think that's part of the reason you might like it so much. I mean, I like it too. I don't know that I like it to the extent. I like the playing part maybe in front of people maybe more. But
definitely.
When you're in the studio, you can be completely,
you can just kind of get lost in your
creative,
own world.
Yeah. And you're very focused. You have one thing you're doing. You're not worrying about, whatever stupid thing you were worried about when you're sitting out in the living room. You come into the, the work zone and you put the headphones on and you're just so dialed in. You're like trying to figure out this little puzzle that, doesn't have a right answer, which is kind of the difference, I think, between...
But that's what I love about it so much, too. It's like there are so many answers that you could do, and you could
go down any road.
There could be multiple answers.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of times that is the case.
Most times, yeah.
There's no wrong way to do it. I mean, there's better ways maybe, but...
There's me, like, I really like very simplistic things, like something that's very easy, I don't have to think about, especially like when it comes to performing, I write several songs from time to time that are just one or two chords, that's it. And
I like to make songs that I can barely play.
Exactly. Yeah, I like to write songs that I can barely play, so that way I can master them when I play them. Like, nobody can play them.
I'm saying the opposite. I was making a joke. I'm saying I like to make songs so difficult that I can barely play them live. So I'm just barely hanging on for the whole song.
All right.
Hilarious. I can tell that it was a really good joke by your reaction to it.
I mean, yeah, it was very thought-provoking. It's like one of those jokes that you have to like sit for a while. Like maybe I'll laugh later. Like,
maybe if I explain it a couple more times.
Maybe I don't think I heard you right.
It's all good. It was a bad joke. That's the bottom line.
No, it was great. It was really good. It was really a good one. Anyways.
Yeah, your songs definitely. I don't know. You go all over the place though. I mean, there's some times where you're a little bit more riffy, and there's some times where you keep it pretty straight. These new songs are definitely more on the very kind of simple side of things, and I think that that's a interesting.
I think I wrote a song the other day that has 3 chords.
Woo!
So
getting up there.
Yeah, it's a step up from 2.
One of your favorite songs of mine of all time, I think, at this point, Wishes is 2 chords the whole song, and I mean that says something about the song. I don't, again, like with the Lord Huron thing, I don't exactly know what it says, but maybe you just don't need so many things sometimes. You know? You can do a lot with a little.
Yeah,
that's exactly. Thing I keep going back to. I tend to overcomplicate things and
it's like especially like growing up and like learning how to play guitar, especially like as a beginner, and kind of not knowing what the heck you're doing really, knowing only 2 or 3 chords, maybe not even 4 chords, you can like you said, you can do a lot with a little, and it would have been nice if there were some like hit songs back then. I'm sure there were, I just didn't hear them, but that had just like 2 chords, because then I could have been like starting off playing songs like that, just...
There are. I play a Post Malone song right now that's literally 2 chords for the whole song. I mean, there's little lead stuff going on. Posty, yeah. I had a guy last night make me play that Post Malone song that I really didn't want to play. I only wanted to play originals, but he asked, and I can't say no, so I decided to just go ahead and butcher that song real good.
No, it sounded good. I didn't recognize that song at all, but I don't really listen to Post. Although Post, he's actually a really talented musician. I have heard him cover some Dylan songs and some Nirvana songs, and, I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, he can definitely play, and he can sing, and I think that he's an interesting fella in general. But,
definitely.
I have a decade of music, obviously, that I'm kind of more into than a lot. I think whatever you're listening to when you're in like those formative years, the high school kind of age, you're kind of pretty dialed into. But I try to, because I do covers, hear good songs that come out currently, and they have to fit my aesthetic, which is a pretty hard one to please, as you've probably learned. But yeah, the one that I cover, Circles, I feel like this is a pretty cool song. I mean, it's
Circles, yeah.
It's I come across those here and there, which I don't know. I feel like a lot of people just give up on new music.
Yeah,
I have a lot of friends that are just like, I'm not even gonna try to hear anything new.
I almost feel like the bands that I listen to are pretty low key most of the time.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of it, because with the new Spotify, kind of, that's how you listen to music.
Yeah.
It's just a different mentality than the radio. So there's not as many, but there are still like real poppy kind of bands that. We were talking about Harry Styles. Harry
Styles, yeah.
Or as you call him, not so Harry Styles.
Yeah. Or Harry not so stylish.
Ooh, that's a low blow.
No, you know what? I'm not gonna hate on Harry Styles.
He comes out with some interesting. It's definitely poppy, but
I like it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed some of his newer songs off his latest album, and I really enjoyed his performance in Christopher Nolan's film Dunkirk.
Oh yeah, that was a great movie.
It was kind of like, I wasn't like super big on the boy bands at this point, like the One Direction. I definitely grew up on Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. I actually have a funny story about that, but I think he's a great musician.
Let's get to the funny story.
You want to hear the funny story? So when I was in I think kindergarten, my mom was working at a teacher at this high school, and they had a talent show, and I signed up to do the talent show, and I was like totally bumping this Backstreet Boys album like every day. Like I would wake up, I would put it on and get ready for school, and just like it was like my thing. And there was one song in particular that I really liked. I don't remember which song it was. It might have been I Want It That Way.
That's the classic.
It was the one that was like ba ba down 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 down.
Yeah, I
whatever that song is.
I recognize that riff.
Anyways, so. I did the lip sync concert, and I actually won.
You won the talent show.
Won the talent show.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like a lip syncing thing, actually. It was like it wasn't a talent show. Okay. It was like a lip syncing contest.
Well, that makes it less impressive, but still, if you were to beat everybody as far as talent wise, and
I think I won like $100.
Oh, there you go. That's pretty awesome.
Something like that.
What'd you spend that on, do you think?
I don't remember. Probably, I remember I used to play with these, they had these, Power Ranger action figures that you could, flip, the heads would flip, so it would be, their head without the mask on, and then you would, flip the back, and then it would, flip into its stomach, and then the mask would be on.
So you could just be a Power Ranger any second you needed to be.
I probably just bought a bunch of those. I had a bunch of them. I loved them.
Man, listen to NSYNC playing with Power Ranger toys. You must have been a cool little kid.
Yep. Yep. That was a good time.
I don't remember really what toys I played with when I was a child.
I could probably think of some more.
Like Batman. I was a big Batman
I had a
guy.
Big box of Star Wars toys.
Ooh.
When the Phantom Menace came out.
Oh, never mind. I was going to say, those are probably worse than these at Phantom Menace. I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened to those. Some of them I never opened. So yeah, those might be.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Lowe has some that are actually still in the box that are probably
like Star Wars action figures.
And I think they're from the original. These are probably worth.
Might want to take that over to the old Pawn Stars factory, if you know what I'm saying.
I don't. You mean Pawn Shop?
No, Pawn Stars. You know the show Pawn Stars, where it's like those guys will tell you legitly what they're worth. And then they'll sell it for a lot more, and it's not what it was actually worth.
Have you ever sold stuff to a pawn shop? That's exactly
many times.
How it
I used to buy guitars and sell them like crazy.
It's not the most economical way to do it, probably.
But. No, I bought a lot of crappy guitars though, and I don't regret selling them.
But I mean, for what you got for them,
That Gibson guitar, I do regret. I do regret getting rid of that.
But you had to. That one it turned into garbage.
It sounded great when it was like working properly, but then yeah, it's just like you couldn't play anything past the 7th, 8th, 9th fret maybe.
Yeah, I mean, when you brought it in to the music shop when I was still working there.
When I first bought that guitar, it had an amazing quality to it. I really don't know what happened. You know, there was one time when... I
mean, some guitars just don't weather well, and if you're traveling with them and you're, taking them indoor, outdoor a lot, and you're not really keeping them in a humidified
And I haven't
box.
really had too many issues with my Martin.
Yeah, and that's why I tend to lean that way, is I always feel like the Martins can... they weather well.
Yeah.
And I have a couple that are around that $800, $900 mark, and I mean, they've been tried and true for hundreds and hundreds of shows. I mean, I've had to have work done here and there on some of them, and really my oldest one is the one you were playing last night.
And I love that guitar.
Yeah,
that guitar has great tone. Like, it's super fun to play.
And it's really easy to sing acoustically with, because it resonates really nicely. Like, it has like a nice compressed, like clean sound, but then you're not having to control the volume.
I'm thinking my next guitar will probably be a Martin down the road, not anytime soon. I'm happy with the instruments actually that I'm using right now.
Right. You've been really into the baritone uke.
I've been really into the baritone uke. Yeah, I just love those smaller bodies. I like the sound. I just think they sound really nice. I think what my next guitar will be a Martin, a little bit of a bigger body.
Yeah.
So I have
a little more resonance. Exactly. See, I like that for recording, especially because you want your guitars to sound big.
Something about the my baby Martin or whatever that I play. It has a little bit of a thin sound to it, but at the same time, it does sound great. And I just think that kind of goes well with the folkier stuff, that contrast with the vocals. It has a really nice tone. It's a little twangy almost.
I think it's a great acoustic just performing guitar. For that reason I keep saying is you're not fighting the volume of your guitar. You're just playing it normally, and then your volume, you don't have to, you can sing over it very easily. Same with your baritone uke, and I do think that's probably has something to do with why you like the
And
baritone.
Ed Sheeran probably knows that too, because he busks a lot, and he made
I don't know, I feel like didn't he do a lot of the looping though when he was busking?
Yeah,
so
that
he was
guy
plugged in.
Eddie, he does some
he's
silly things.
He's a good musician all around.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, very talented.
Definitely talented and funny. He's been in a few little small roles, like that Beatles film yesterday. He was really funny in that.
I didn't like the ending on that, but I like that movie a lot. I like that first performance of Yesterday, where you try to, because you hear those songs, those Beatles songs, so many times that they don't hold the same magic. When you're putting yourself in the shoes of somebody just sitting down with the guitar and playing that like they wrote it, imagining that you're just sitting across from Paul McCartney when he's playing it, and you're hearing it for the first time. I mean, it holds so much more weight, and I feel like it did a really good job of expressing that. Because Beatles are one band that a lot of people just take for granted in a lot of ways.
I think so too.
I mean same with Dylan, but
yeah. I always have these on and off Beatle periods, and same with Dylan. It was Dylan for a while. Now I'm kind of listening to just a little bit of everything. But I need to get back into the Beatles. It's been a while since I listened to their stuff. They have some terrific albums, obviously very inspirational. I used to just listen to strictly Beatles songs, and I would be like, okay, I definitely know exactly how to write a song now, because they have such a variety of songs. There's endless things that you can do with just a guitar. And
did you watch
Beatles.
Yeah, I think everybody owes them a little bit of a hat tip, maybe.
Absolutely.
But and I mean, that's obvious. I mean, it's an obvious thing that I'm saying. I don't know that it's redundant almost, because I think
Beatles and Coldplay, the most influential bands of all time.
I do like Coldplay, but
me too.
They have some good songs. That "Fix You" song always gets me.
Viva La Vida.
Yeah, that one's upbeat. Not my favorite. Their earlier stuff too, I really liked. I listened to it in high school.
The Scientist.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Yellow.
Yellow would be the album, the one that was the
Paradise.
album. Parachute maybe was that album.
I'm not sure. I know
Charlie Brown on that album you're talking about is one of Xylo. What is it? Milo Xylophone or something?
I'm not sure. I honestly haven't heard that one in a really long time. I'm not really sure what
there's
it
a
sounds
song
like.
on that called Charlie Brown that is like my favorite for sure.
Have to check that
out. It's like got this weird time signature. We covered it a few times, but it was always really tough because there's just like 2 random extra beats in one of the lines, and like the singing of it doesn't feel right for some reason, that one section. But always one of my favorite songs. But that's newer. I mean, there was a lot of there was a lot of good songs, I feel like, on that album. But their old stuff, like Shiver, like you were saying, like the instrumentals in those are really cool. And he does some weird open tuning stuff, which I know you like to do on occasion. But
sometimes
he does some funky, like, big open. I saw his Tiny Desk performance. Did you see that? The NPR, which is I think it was their band.
I think so.
And it's just like his voice is just good. I mean, I know he gets a lot of shit.
Especially I think when he hops on the piano and starts singing, like
it's just like so in pitch, and he's just so naturally good. It's hard. I know
he's a terrific musician.
Yeah, and I think people like you were kind of making fun of him almost a little bit. I know you like him, so that's different. But a lot of people hate on Coldplay a lot. But you know, I dig
My
it.
thing is just like, you know, if the songs sound good, like I don't really care what the band is. Like, you know what I mean? Like some people just like won't listen to something because of a name. Like they heard something, you know, it's very stereotypical this or that,
Right.
and it's like they just don't give it a chance. But I'm sure there are so many bands that people probably say they don't like, and if they just listen to their songs, they'd probably be like, "Oh, I actually do like this."
Or maybe it's just a few songs that they end up in
it
like.
could just
but
be
you
one
could
song.
find,
There are a lot of one-hit wonders.
You
out
could
there.
find it if you look. Is what you're saying?
And I've noticed too, like on Spotify, I get a lot of like sort of like those bands where it's like they have like one really great song. I'm like, oh wow, like I can't wait to listen to this whole project. And you're like, oh, that was the only
good
song I enjoyed on
that. Yeah. It's a little bit of a bummer. I don't know. I don't mind a one-hit one. I mean, if the song's good, you know. I'll put it on my playlist then, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
If it gets me to where I need to be, and a lot of, I don't know. I've been listening to. I switched over to Spotify not that long ago, and they have this enhanced. I was showing you that the other day for your playlist, and they do some recommended songs, and I found some pretty cool stuff that I probably wouldn't have otherwise found.
And I've been using that as well since you showed it to me.
It's
really awesome.
Yeah, and I think it changes a lot too. Like it's not just the same. Like every time you go to the playlist, I think it updates with different. I mean, some of the same, but you know, a lot of different stuff and
similar stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, just it's nice to. I don't know. Like I was saying earlier, with people around my age, for some reason I feel like they kind of give up a lot of times, and they like what they like, you know, which isn't, you know, a bad thing necessarily, but I'm always looking for something new that's gonna get, like I said, get me to where I need to be. And I think, you know, I can go back and listen to those same songs I've always loved, and you know, they're great, but sometimes I need something new to move me, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
But anyway, there's been a few bands I've been really digging lately. There's one called Mountain Joy, which I know you said you'd heard. They have a song called I'm Your Wreck, I think, that I really like. I don't know about their other stuff, but
they have a few really good songs that I know of. I've never listened to like any of their full projects, but usually comes on in the car, like when Sydney and I are just like, you know, traveling about.
Yeah. There was this other song called Eloise, I think, by Penny and Sparrow. I've been really liking. I showed you that, I think, the other night. And then there was that one crazy one that had that crazy. Remember that video with the lights and the tree?
Oh, that was a great song.
I'm gonna try to look that one up because I can't remember. Bygone is the name of either the band. I think the Bygone is the name of the song, maybe. But
it was a really neat video.
Yeah.
It was very simple too, because it's
yeah.
like all they did was set up those lights, then they put a rhythmic thing to it. They took different angles of all the stuff that was like surrounding it. But it almost looked like that was actually shot in a studio or something.
Yeah,
because like the lighting was controlled so well.
Yeah, it had to be hooked up just right. You know, there's a certain
I
element.
want to know what the budget was for that video because like it was really cool.
Yeah, it was more than we have, but less than like a legit like big studio kind of video. The Volcano Choir, I think, is what, or maybe is the band on top? No, the song's on top.
Yeah,
so,
the band's on bottom.
So it's Volcano Choir. The song is called Bygone. Check that one out. I've been really into that song lately.
I enjoyed that one as well.
But anyway, so how many more songs you got to record?
So I've got 4 songs done. My plan was to put out a 7-song project, and I have about 10 to choose from.
Just keep writing them.
I got about 10 to choose from, so I'm just gonna, I'll probably see what, feels most comfortable when I do that. Sometimes, things change really quickly since I am constantly writing. I'll write a song and I'll be like, okay, you know what? Like, this is going on here. Now I only got 2 to choose from.
But then sometimes you wait 4 days and you're like, that one's not that good anymore. You go back and forth a lot.
Yeah.
I just know that Wishes song, the acoustic version, has got to be on there because that's my fave.
I'm thinking I'm going to do Wishes, maybe Wondering, and you like that folky song, but... I don't know what's going to happen. We'll just see. I don't want to say, like, what I'm going to put on there, because I never know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, either do they. So, yeah, even if somebody's listening to this, they're not going to be writing it down, probably.
For sure.
Oh, that song was on there. Where's the Wishes
There's going to be that one guy that's, like, writing all this down, like, joke's on you. I got a whole notebook right here.
He's going to be sending you all them Facebook messages, probably, like, hey... Where's that Wishes song? Actually, if that Wishes song doesn't make it on there, I'm going to be the guy that's like, hey, dude, it's my favorite song. Where's it at? But anyway.
Right.
So, you don't really have a lot I mean, you have your old Spotify. You have the Ryan Edward Wolf, which
Ryan
people can
Edward
check
Wolf
out.
on Spotify. You can check that out. Pretty soon, I'll be releasing a new project under just my first and last name. So definitely look out for that too. You can follow me on Instagram at Ryan Wolf Music. I'm on Facebook, and I'm on YouTube. So that's how you can kind of listen to my...
A quick, I know you're not into those old recordings as much, but I will say one of my favorite songs you've ever written is on that series of recordings, and that's The Sun Will Wake You Up. So that'd be a good place to start if you're getting into the Ryan Edward Wolf stuff. Check out The Sun Will Wake You Up.
The Sun Will Wake You Up. Yeah, I've thought about maybe re-recording that song at some point, but I don't know if it'll...
I don't know if it needs it. I like kind of the feel of the original. You had somebody play cajon with you, right?
Yeah, my good buddy, Jordan Vietti.
Yeah.
We used to be in a couple projects together, and, he's a terrific drummer. And, yeah, he played the cajon on that, and then Alex Dunning played guitar.
Yeah. And it's a really cool song. So, again, if you're looking for a place to start with the Ryan Edward Wolf stuff, check out The Sun Will Wake You Up. There's some other great songs on there as well. And then, you post stuff to YouTube a lot too, right?
I do, yeah.
And it might not be released officially, a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, no. I've just got some videos on there. I have, a live performance playing a Jack White song on there. And then I have, some new stuff, some old stuff, some Dylan covers, some Arctic Monkeys covers. There's just a little bit of everything on there.
So you can check that out as well.
For sure. Ryan Wolf on YouTube. I would definitely check that out for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you don't... Because I feel like a lot of people just rely on the Spotify. So they might miss out if they don't check out the YouTube as well.
And right now, it doesn't matter a ton because, I'm trying to start fresh. I'm going to be, I still need to work on the social media part. I'm a little behind on that.
It's all just a clusterfuck, honestly.
For sure.
I mean, it's wild to try to keep up with it. I mean, I do it, but I
didn't know we could curse. I didn't know we could curse on here.
Oh.
I've been, biting my tongue the whole time.
Now you're just going to start dropping F-bombs in the last 30 seconds as much as you can.
Yeah, this is dumb.
God darn it. Anyway, appreciate you hanging out, having the conversation. I'm sure you'll be back at some point.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Check out Ryan Wolf, or Ryan Edward Wolf on Spotify soon. Upcoming album under Ryan Wolf.
It's confusing.
On Spotify. He intentionally, I think. But anyway, thanks for taking the time to listen. We'll talk to you again soon. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.